Good morning, Washington. How you doing, everybody? It is the 9th of February, 2012. Birthday plus one. Yesterday was my birthday, February 8th. And I'd like to thank all the wonderful people who sent me email messages. Lots of messages there on Facebook. And they sent me emails and stuff and made phone calls. I'd like to thank you all very much. Your kind wishes, your kind thoughts have been received and returned. Returned in the form of love. And so there. So there. It's funny because having a birthday on February 8th throughout the years has always meant bad weather. There's about a 50% chance that there'll be really bad weather on my birthday, either an ice storm or a snowstorm or something like that. And I've had times when friends and family have made a big party planned, and then we had to cancel at the last minute because there was an ice storm or something. So it was nice, even though the weather wasn't great yesterday. There was some wet snow flurries around. It still was not a bad day weather-wise. So that's kind of cool. All right, folks, what's the big news today? The big news today. Is there a youth movement at Mix 107.3? Interesting, some rumblings coming out. We're hearing that WRQX there. Let's see, WR. I never remember their website. It's one of these funky website addresses. WRQX. Let's see if we can just punt. Okay, here we are. If you look here. Oh, dear. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, there we are. Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. There we are. Mix 107.3, all the hits. And there's Justin Timberlake, and I don't know who those chicks are. Lady Gaga. I don't know who the hell I am. All the kids tonight, what are they listening to? Anyhow, it looks like they've, jazzed up the website. Lots of pinks and flashy colors, all the hits. There's a lot of rumblings that Cumulus, the new owner of the station there, is trying to maybe reposition WRQX as more of a youthy station. WRQX has always done well with the women, middle-aged, even older women. They hire these guys like, Jack Diamond, the suave, sophisticated, gray-haired Jack Diamond, and Rob Carson, I think he's a little younger than Jack, but, he's no spring chicken. And they've always done very well in the female demographics. The problem is, CBS's Fresh 94.7 FM with Tommy McFly, a young guy, doing the morning show there, and they're starting to get some ratings traction over there at Fresh. The Hot 99.5, Clear Channel's Hot 95 has always done really well in the ratings. So you got CBS's Fresh, you got Clear Channel's Hot 99.5, you got a kind of a rejuvenated PGC now, kind of kicking it a little more hit-oriented there over at CBS. So you got these three stations, and you've got good ratings for WASH, which is a basic kind of down-the-road adult contemporary station. Middle of, with Lou and Lori in the morning. And the station, I think, Cumulus is a little worried that Mix 107.3 is going to get left out of the mix. So they're kind of juicing up the station there. The question will be, what about Jack Diamond? Jack's a good guy. We all love Jack. He's a radio veteran. But, in this day and age, youth, especially among music formats. If you're running music, it just seems like, it's youth. And it will be interesting to see how Cumulus deals with that. Lots of rumblings over the last few months that there are going to be some big changes in the air staff over there at Mix 107.3, although nothing much has happened yet. So, wait to see. Over there at Sister WMAL, the other Cumulus station here in Washington, lots of talk that maybe Mike Huckabee might be getting a slot on the station. Mike just signed a deal with Cumulus to be syndicated in the noon to 3 o'clock position. Now that puts him right up against Rush Limbaugh, the big talk Titanic guy there at the, who's also heard on WMAL. So what's Cumulus going to do? It's like, Cumulus, Rush Limbaugh is syndicated by a company called Premier, which is owned by Clear Channel. Okay, so if Clear Channel brings Rush Limbaugh in-house, and they have done that in a number of their markets, like San Francisco. Rush Limbaugh used to be on a Cumulus or a Citadel station in San Francisco. Now he's on a Clear Channel station, and you can see the trend of that happening. What if in DC here they try to put Limbaugh on a Clear Channel station. Now Clear Channel doesn't really have a talk station here in Washington, so they could maybe flip one of their FMers over, or maybe one of the Baltimore signals, bring it into Washington, like 102.7 or something like that. But it'd be interesting to see. I don't think we're going to see Limbaugh leaving WMAL anytime in the near future, but it could happen. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. You never know. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. Oh, wow. More buyouts over there at the Washington Post. 33 positions are being targeted, voluntary buyouts. This is like the 5th round in the last few years. Hey, Paul Farhi. Don't get me started on Paul Farhi. He writes an article yesterday on coverage of the Lance Armstrong allegations of blood doping and all that. And Paul Farhi has to put in a little dig about how the Washington Post's coverage was better than the New York Times and ESPN. I don't know, man. That just kind of cringe going, oh, Paul, please. Oh. WMAL's been really, the investigative news department at WMAL has just reported that Ann Wog, a former producer at the station who now works with Andy Parks over there at WTNT, the Washington Times, has gotten something like, a bunch of notices and 7 tickets from some speed camera that was installed near her home in Cleveland Park. Okay. Poor Ann. This WMAL is portraying it. The evil, rotten bureaucracy is clamping down on poor Ann Wog. Hey, and Brian Wilson too. Brian Wilson is also admitted to be getting a bunch of those Montgomery County speed camera tickets. Slow down. Drive slower in a residential area. If you everybody can get a ticket once in a while, a speed cam ticket now and then. You're driving in an unfamiliar area and you don't. Oh, it looks like it's a 35-mile-an-hour road and it's 25 speed limit. That can happen, but come on. If you get 11 tickets in a month, maybe you might want to think about your driving. Maybe you suck as a driver. Maybe you speed regularly through residential areas doing 50, 60 miles an hour. Maybe you're one of those chicks that comes right up on my bumper. I'm going down the road at 45 in a 35 zone, and I got some chick right on my bumper. It's probably Ann Wog. Warrenton. 1250. I don't know. This station used to be owned by Metro. They're selling it. Big confidentiality agreement of who's buying it. And I'm told somebody I will like is buying this station. Okay, well, I immediately thought, Mike O'Mara. No, Mike O'Mara's not buying it, at least according to Mike's peeps. So who's going to be buying 1250? Somebody I will like. I got to thinking, you know what? There's a really cool little radio station down in Charlottesville. What is it called? WNRN? Kind of an adult alternative station. Wouldn't it be cool if they brought that station? At least, get their signal a little bit into the Washington area. It wouldn't be great signal. You can barely hear it in this part of Northern Virginia. But, what the heck? The other interesting thing. Oh, let me start with this one. Nassau. Nassau Broadcasting, they're based in Princeton, New Jersey. They own 40, 50 stations in the Northeast, including Frederick's 103.1, WAFY, Key 103, and 106.9, WARX, the Eagle, Classic Rock. Okay, they got hit with a involuntary bankruptcy petition back in the end of last year. Looks like they're going to be auctioning off their signals. So, who's going to be in the market for these 2 signals? Da-da-da-da! CBS just started all news WNEW on 99.1, which does a great. It's over there in Anne Arundel County. Great signal into most of the Washington area, but not so much into Northern Virginia and not so much into the western suburbs. But what about 103.1 joining with 99.1? I would say, that makes sense. CBS, I wouldn't be surprised if CBS is a bidder, at least for the 103.1 signal in Frederick. It wouldn't solve all their problems. There is another 103.1 down here in Culpeper. It's WCUL country music. But, at least buying 103.1 in Frederick, WTOP has a relay in Frederick, 103.9. That would, and Frederick is a market, is a kind of separate mini market. And it does bleed into the Washington area. And it does, I can get 103.1 pretty well here in Northern Virginia. That might be an interesting addition for CBS to put WNEW on. Wouldn't solve all their problems, but it certainly would help get better coverage into the western suburbs and Nova. All right, folks, that's it. Dave TV for another day. Have a good one. So, there.